Hello, Gems. My name is Bushnell. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you stay long enough to subscribe. I talk about femininity, personal development, and mindset. And if you're already part of the tribe, darling, welcome back. Let's talk about the dangers of the self-help industry, especially in this era where there are a lot of unsolicited advice on TikTok, Instagram, and even people publishing books telling you how your life could be better. So the first one is it makes you an idol. As a child of God, you know that we are not to worship any other God but God Almighty, right? But what self does especially when we engage with self-help content is we focus only on ourselves. It makes us selfish, we are less empathetic, we tend to manipulate people, situations, and just seek for self. But we're created for more than just self. We're created to engage with our God, and we're created to engage with others. And that's something where we don't get to do and do it well when we're in the self-help industry. We tend to blame ourselves, and we can even develop tendencies and patterns that are not good, like narcissism. The second bit is constant grind. Now, rest is very important. Rest for the body, rest for the soul, rest for the mind. That if we are constantly in the hustle and thinking that saying I didn't sleep or I slept for only a few hours is something to be proud of, then that's just a show that we're not in that space. God Almighty rested on the seventh day, and He created it in such a way that even us as human beings should rest. And that doesn't mean we become lazy. No. What that means instead is that we have to know how to build something that generates in its own. We have to know how to, even though we're in certain spaces that we might not probably like, maybe you have a job that you don't like, how we can wind down, how we can maximize the other times that we have, how we can rest our bodies and minds and all those bits. So what self-help does, it tells you it's okay to always be on the constant grind and all those things, and yet rest is very important. The third thing is toxic positivity, and we see this through how it invalidates genuine hearts, emotions, it makes people feel guilty. And how is this sin? You can see when people are going through grief or struggle, you make it look as if it doesn't matter. Yet these are normal human emotions. And we see that some people who are even given medication to suppress those emotions, probably from losing a bestie or a relationship. Yet these are things you should go through. These are things you should grow into. So even when we look at faith in the Bible, it's not necessarily about being extremely positive about something, but it's just trusting that this is higher than you, but you serve a God who is higher than whatever you're trusting and can do whatever it is. So acknowledging the pain, the heart, and all those things does not make you any less of someone who is able and capable, but that's what the self-help industry wants you to believe. The fourth thing is it's a one-size-fits-all kind of thinking. So often it's usually presented as a universal truth, ignoring the differences. Now, I am recording this from Africa, and we have situations that are different here. And depending on the different countries within the African continent, we also have different situations. Probably you're in a country where the tech is way advanced, like in Kenya, we have really good tech. And so the issues that I'd probably be dealing with is not going to be the same as somebody who is in the rural sides of my country, the same country, or a different continent, or a different country within the continent. And I can't be compared to someone who is in the United States or probably in the UK in terms of how their market works and everything in between. What their passport can do as well in comparison to what my passport can do as well. But these are not the issues put into place when giving this advice and taking this in. And so you're putting yourself in pressure without considering those factors that really, really impact how things play. So the process of how setting a business probably where you are is different from where somebody is. The bureaucracy that it probably involves, the finances that it probably involves, and what it takes to get it done. So this person are putting it in terms of in a context with where they are, and so that's something that we should always ignore, and it puts us into pressure, and we look like failures, or we feel like failures. But that's one of the dangers. But finally, we're going to end it with unqualified advice. And this one, ladies, we see gurus, quote unquote, who lack training in psychology, in counseling, or medicine. They're the ones giving you advice. Some of these people are witches. That's right. Some of these people are witches, and they have a plan to destroy what is moral and ethical within the society, where we see women are telling other women to be manipulative. We see the other day, we saw that the lady who hosts Call You Daddy podcast is a married woman now who's having a baby, yet for years on her podcast, she's been telling people to be promiscuous. She's been telling people to, women, most especially, to live a life that will not lead them into marriage and eventually even having a child, right? So you see some of these people giving you advice and getting a following, yet they're not qualified for it. And these are the people putting you under pressure. We do not understand what they go through behind the curtains. They're probably living the life of do as I say and not as I do kind of life. So I hope this has given you something to reflect about before you embracing fully the self-help industry.